we're not on YouTube.
The hell?
Welcome to a world of thrills, a world of drama, of capes and tights, a world where death is a revolving door. Welcome to the Geek Matrix.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Geek Matrix. As I just said.
Welcome to the Geek Matrix, as I just said.
Well, that's a trip.
Echo. It's not even so much that it was coming out of your audio. It was coming out of your audio and then hearing it again and coming out of it a second time, which
That's
was
weird.
Fantastic. Yes, this is the Geek Matrix DC Comics Review Show, number 172, if I recall correctly. I hope I'm not misremembering.
No, I think that's it. Yeah, 172. Yeah.
Right on. This is Rob here, as always, every week to give you the scoop on this week's books. And with me, as always, is Josh.
Howdy ho, neighbors. That wasn't creepy at all.
Okay, Towley.
Don't forget to take your towel.
No, it wasn't Towley. It was Mr. Hanky that said that.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was Mr. Hanky. Check this out, man. What?
'Tis the season, after all.
It's getting there, I do believe. I'm sure there will be a special. So check this out. Poison Ivy once told Harley Quinn that people who sell meat are disgusting. But Harley responded that people who sell fruits and vegetables are grosser.
You know, people that sell meat are also grosser.
Yeah, that doesn't work for the joke, though.
I don't care. I will add logic to your humor. It makes me feel better.
That ruins me. All right.
Yes, so, it's been a week. How you been?
I've been sick the whole time, and I'm sick now and
Lovely.
sick.
Sick. Dude.
Just sick.
That does suck. I think I brought it up last week because I didn't open it, and I think I started opening it throughout the show. My unfortunately Green Lantern Sinestro.
Oh yeah.
I've had it on my desk for a week now, and I'm still not happy. God, I really wanted the yellow one.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
gonna find it in a store somewhere.
I hope you do.
Excuse me.
I don't have any complaints about my figurines right now.
No, which is good.
No.
Really good. You should.
Man, using that Tiki stuff, this stuff that your teachers in elementary school used to hang stuff on the wall with. I have had my death metal Superman perched up on one leg with his knee way up high in the air, ready to take a swing at Darkfather for 2 weeks now, and he hasn't budged. He hasn't budged even the tiniest bit. You just put a little bit of that tacky underneath the base, and man, he's been sitting there like butter. I love it. Oh man, I'm gonna do a lot of coughing.
Yeah. Don't worry, I get it. That was me last week. Which, again, sorry folks for the noise, the brutal noise. Oh boy.
Oh, it's gonna be a rough one. If anybody out there has been listening to the video or watching the video game podcast, I've been hacking plenty enough. I have this really, really sophisticated talent of hitting the mute button right after I finish.
I mean, we never hear it, so.
Well, People definitely did yesterday or this week. I'll tell you that much.
Fair enough. All right. Well, in excuse me, in the world of geekdom, I can't say there's much comic book news, but there's definitely some news that has happened this week. And shit, I know I'm forgetting one, but primarily, Nintendo was officially announced, and it's been heavily rumored for a few years, that a live-action Legend of Zelda movie is in development, which I think is
Woot
exciting.
woot.
I'm all for it. I'm ready for it. Excuse me. The one downside is it's being co-produced by Avi Arad.
Oh no.
And produced by his production company. So, like, he's had some bangers in the past, but he's also ruined a lot of franchises, in my opinion.
I mean, yeah, when he's given carte blanche to do stuff, but I mean, the one thing that gives me the one thing that gives me hope about a Nintendo movie in this day and age is that it's a Nintendo movie.
Yeah.
So Nintendo's not going to put out a piece of shit and spend that kind of money to maybe flop.
No.
They know that the movies that they put out have got to be like right there. Even the staunchest critics of the Mario movie, ended up liking it.
Yeah.
It'll be the same for this.
I definitely hope so. The downside, which is potentially a downside, but still a downside, is the fact that it is live action. Quite honestly, I don't think an animated Zelda feature would work, much like the Mario animated feature worked. But with live action, like, there's so many things that could go wrong in live action. That's the thing. And I am reminded of the one live action American Dragon Ball movie we got and how that ended up. And
Yuck.
I could see it going the same way. Which I really hope it doesn't, but I could definitely see it going the same way. Also, it's being
gross.
Co-funded and distributed by Sony Pictures.
What?
Yeah, which is a bit of a twist, but I guess that's where they can get their funding. And Sony films haven't been on the greatest track record recently either. So, if they're co-funding it, they're going to say, like, trust us a bit. We have the movie business, and if we're putting money into it, you got to listen to some of our ideas. And I don't like how that's going to go.
I don't see Nintendo giving up that kind of oversight. Not now.
It's not that they would necessarily have a choice, though. Like, Sony in the past has been known to try to just do it their way. They seem to be working well with Marvel Studios right now with all the Spider-Man stuff. But, like, the solo Spider-Man movies they're putting out, the Spider-Man universe, if you will, what they're calling it, it's that stuff sucks compared to the MCU Spider-Man stuff, which is pretty damn good.
I mean, I'm not gonna try and dispute that. I mean, that's a whole nother ball of wax. But when it comes to, I mean, I think with Sony putting it out, Sony's just putting it out. Sony sees an opportunity to make a movie that's going to make a shit ton of cash. I mean, it's guaranteed that it's going to make a shit ton of cash. It's a Nintendo movie.
Yeah.
It's the other one that isn't Mario. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Zelda and Link are, I would say Nintendo's second biggest stars.
Oh, easily, yeah.
They're not going to have any problem drawing anything in. I just don't... I just cannot see Nintendo saying, here, go ahead and have at it. I see Nintendo saying, we get last word on everything.
Yeah, like, hopefully they were able to negotiate that kind of contract with Sony in terms of the funding and the distribution. I could definitely see Sony saying, like, you're not going to be able to do this without us, so if you're going to do it, you gotta, like, have us help. But I definitely agree with you that Nintendo's gonna fight back on that. I just fear that if they do fight back too hard, Sony's just gonna pull their plug. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
I don't know why they didn't just go through Universal Pictures again, but I suppose they don't want to have it all under one
Yeah,
company.
I get that. Or Universal just didn't see the value in it. I don't know.
That's impossible. The amount of cash they just made off of Mario, Sony probably just put in a higher bid, and I bet you that's what it was.
Yeah. I'm just looking for other news right now. I know there was more. I just can't fucking find it.
I just can't fucking find it anymore.
Oh, right. Something that came across my desk today. Actually, but the two other things I have came across my desk today. Apparently, David Zaslav had the Q3 earnings call for WB recently, and he did mention in terms of um, the gaming side, they want to focus more on the live service gaming going forward. Uh, and from how he describes it, as he continues with his little blurb about it, it is heavily profit based choices there. Like it has nothing to do with games for the gamers. This is an avenue to get us money and nothing else. That's definitely how he's making it sound. So I'm not too happy about that, because I would love to give money to a good game, but when it comes to like games as a service and freemium games, which is pretty much how like what he's describing is going to be the future of WB games, uh, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to give my money to that because they're not games I enjoy. You're muted still, bud.
I'm muted still, bud. It's definitely a choice, that's for sure. Games as a service, that's wow. The freemium shit drives me absolutely crazy. You can't seem to get away from that on any online game anymore. But I mean, hey, to each their own. If you're gonna drop it for cosmetics, if it's pay to win, that's a bunch of BS. And like it should literally be struck from the internet.
Yeah.
But if I can't help but wonder if this means that they're going to be pursuing more games like DC Dual Force and mobile games, rather than going after the AAA games that they attempted just recently with Gotham Knights.
Yeah. And that's
like, are they just
like,
going to avoid high end, top tier gaming now, or?
it certainly sounds like it.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Ridiculous, yeah.
I want. Why can't we have more Arkham City games? Of that quality.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I mean, Rocksteady's still making a Wonder Woman game, so we'll see.
We'll see. See, and that's the thing, is that can't exactly be 100% right. So the freemium shit, at the very least, has to extend into games like Suicide Squad versus the Justice League,
Yeah,
and
well, that's got to be games as a service for sure.
and Wonder Woman, I would imagine, would also probably have things you could buy, skins or whatnot.
That would be up the same lines as the Arkham series, where they had like some paid DLC and skin packs you could buy,
right.
Which is fine, because that's just bonus to the whole game. You're paying one price for the whole game, and that's perfect. That's what we want. And then skin packs, that's optional if you want to go play flying around as Batman Beyond or like Yellow Lantern Batman or Adam West Batman. By all means, go for it.
Right.
Shell out those $5, get that suit, and go kick Zaz's face in as fucking
Zernar.
George Clooney. Like, yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention that to you. Arkham Knight actually just got an update last week.
What?
Yeah, a new skin came out. Robert Pattinson Batman.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. They went back and coated that skin and sent it out to the game.
I mean, I guess.
It actually looks pretty good. I still haven't watched the movie, but that skin looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. In game, I mean. But
Cool.
back on track, like with Wonder Woman, like I could see it going the same way as the Arkham games. A singular, a focused game, single player gameplay, um, and very similar combat, I'd imagine, with the free flow style, and then you have some alternate skins.
The reason what's giving me pause about saying that they're abandoning all of the AAA stuff is that previously, Gunn and Safran had said that overall, all of the games, TVs and movies, they're all going to be interconnected.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time seeing how they could make interconnected games off of mobile and CCG.
Well, CCG is iffy. Like if you're talking about DC Dual Force, like that would have been in development for a while, so that's pre to all of that news about the games will be interconnected. There's probably just games going forward once the DCU gets started. Will be interconnected, much like the comics. But like for example, like oh my god, I had an example, I just forgot it.
It was a lie. It was all a lie.
I was for some reason I'm thinking like the Injustice 2 mobile game is still active. It's still going strong. And they interact every time a movie comes out or some big thing in DC happens. Like it's connected to it in that way. Not necessarily story wise, even though they do sometimes adapt the story into that game, but mostly in character skins. But that would be the idea I think is going to happen when it comes to the freemium and games as a service model that might be going forward. They'll just be integrating the stories from these movies and series into the gameplay somehow.
No, from the way that I had understood it, it's gonna be like the games are gonna be used to fill in holes in between movies and shows and whatnot.
I don't like that idea because they've tried that before and it doesn't work. Not necessarily Warner Bros. And DC, but like other companies have tried that many times over. And it doesn't work the same because you're forcing creators to work with each other to mesh a story that won't necessarily work. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this over here, so you have to reference this. I know the MCU did that, but they did it in that self-contained linear story with the movies. They didn't allow it to branch out into the various series that happened, like with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Netflix series. None of those got referenced. And even going forward with Kingpin and Daredevil in the MCU now, it's not going to reference the Netflix show whatsoever, which I completely understand. And even with the when the MCU got started, we were still getting movie licensed video games at the time. Iron Man and Captain America got their own video games based on the movies, and Iron Man, I remember, was said to, its storyline wise, was supposed to take place after the first movie, before Iron Man 2. But of course, Iron Man 2 just completely ignored anything that happened in the video game because how are they going to incorporate that? And Spider-Man games had the same problem when it came to the movies. Like I've played so many movie games that says this takes place between this movie and this movie. It's actually part of the story, and then later down the line, the entire game gets retconned. It just doesn't work.
Well, they need to think much more of a bigger picture than that. I would even go so far as to say maybe at least a 5-year window, like comics do.
Yeah.
Have some sort of a fucking, I would say 10-year plan at the very least about what you're going to do with the movies. But I mean, if that's the plan, keeping the movies at the forefront, using TV shows to promote properties that you don't think could catch a could do well as a movie, or fill in characters, etc. And then games that kind of interconnect those two universes and have little stories that are based off of things that had previously happened. Cool. But if you release, just for simplicity's sake, Superman 1 and then Superman 2, and then you release Superman Unleashed, the video game, which goes in between 1 and 2, and then in 3 you don't acknowledge anything that happened in there. It's got to be carefully crafted. I mean, if you're gonna put together a narrative, then you've got to make sure you follow it. So I get where your trepidation comes from. I hope it's for naught.
The other issue I have with it, it's also forcing people into a medium that they potentially don't care about or don't have any interaction with.
That's why I'm saying it's got to be
exclusives.
Filling in holes.
Yeah.
And fuck console exclusives.
Even that, like the perfect example right here, Star Wars Episode 9. Glaring plot hole for a lot of people that still talk about it. Palpatine just returned. And everybody still talks about Poe Dameron's line, somehow Palpatine returned, and they still like, no, somehow. But if you were on Fortnite one day at like 6 p.m. for 5 minutes in the movie theater area, a little clip played of the First Order, and it explained Sidious returning. And that's only if you were there or knew it was happening. But most Star Wars fans either were not playing Fortnite, didn't give a shit about Fortnite, or didn't know it was happening. It was only Fortnite players knew it was happening. And for the record, I didn't know it was happening. I was playing Fortnite at the time, and I was there. I watched it. I couldn't even fucking tell you what happened. I don't remember. It was so minor. But it was...
Because comic books.
It was dumb.
So dumb.
And that's also filling in a hole in Episode 9. Like, I get where you're coming from too, Josh, and I do hope they can pull that together, because it does sound like a good idea, but I could see so many things going wrong with it at the same time.
Yeah, because for people like me who, like I go all in on DC.
Yeah.
I watch movies, TV shows, and play the games. So It would be a really cool, enriching experience for me if I could get into that universe. We've got the Superman movie, and then the Alan Scott show, and then a video game follow that. I mean, how all of that stuff just smoothing together like that, I would gobble that up. It would be a fanboy's dream if you were into all three of those mediums.
It really is the next step of like the CW verse and the MCU.
Yeah.
Those two concepts really went places and changed the game for motion picture as a storytelling medium. It really did. So what you're putting down, like, it really is, that's the next step of that evolution. I do hope they can pull it off, though.
You and me both.
Gonna be so tricky, because you could also alienate so many people doing this, of just be like, well, I don't own this console, or I don't have $500 to shell out getting a new PlayStation and get the game, and I guess I'm just not going to know that part of the story.
Well, that would be stupid. That would just be a bad business decision to be console exclusive.
Well, not even just that. Like, there's some people that just they can't afford any console, right? Because it's next gen.
Amen.
Right? Or they don't know enough to build a PC that could run it on PC. That's if even comes to PC.
Shit! In order to be able to, dude, in order to be able to play the next gen of PC games, and I'm talking about PC games going forward, your computer's going to be $3,000 or more.
Exactly. And at that point, you may as well shell out just $600 for a new Xbox or PlayStation. But that's, again, if you have that kind of money. Like, the economy everywhere kind of sucks right now.
Yeah. The thing about the PC is that if it's exclusive, you either get it immediately on the Xbox, or you got to wait a couple years and you'll eventually get it from Sony.
Yeah.
The more you want it, the longer you will have to wait.
Yeah. It's going to be such an interesting, if not also trepidatious, time going forward for Warner Brothers and their storytelling avenues. It's going to be interesting. On that note, one little brief bit of news I have left. Gaming, Steam had an announcement today, not 4 or 5 hours ago.
Yeah, about what?
A new Steam Deck OLED.
What?
Is announced.
Ooh, pretty.
And not only is it announced, it's coming next week.
Shut the fuck up. Are you serious?
At least what I see on IGN right now is November 16th is the release date.
Man.
Yeah. And it's... Okay, now my big question, because I knew what I was thinking when my buddy told me about it. How much do you think it's going to be?
A brand new Steam Deck with... A brand new Steam Deck with an OLED screen? I don't know, man. 15?
1,500?
Yeah.
Yeah, I said 2K right away. Like it's got to be $2,000. So there's two storage configuration models: the 512 gigabyte and the 1 terabyte.
Mm-hmm.
The 512 gigabytes will cost $549.
What?
And the 1 terabyte $649. Those are in U.S. prices. I'm impressed.
Okay, man.
Yeah, like even the prices of the previous Steam Decks, which I don't remember them being this cheap. I remember maybe it's just in Canadian dollars. I remember one being pretty close to 1,000.
I mean, I've never been going after handhelds before, so I mean, I don't really know. Me personally, I want to be able to like play my computer game from in the living room, even though my PC is in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So I need
Steam Deck is perfect for that.
That's what I'm saying. I could hook that up to my TV. The other option that I've got is that NVIDIA GeForce. No, NVIDIA Shield. That's what it's called.
Right. NVIDIA Shield's pretty good.
That's what I want. I want the NVIDIA Shield.
But in response to the new model coming out and the insanely low price, in my opinion, the LCD models, the original versions, will be getting a price drop. So the 512 gigabyte model, which was previously $649, $650, which is what the now new 1 terabyte OLED model is going to be costing, it will now be $449.
Oh wow!
$200 price drop. 256 gigabyte model, previously $529, will now be $399, and the 64 gigabyte model, previously $399, will be $349. So a really good price drop, and even more incentive to get that bigger size. But quite honestly, if you have $450, like, just wait a paycheck, get another 100, and get the OLED model. Like,
that's what I am saying.
Yes, really good prices, and it might actually be time for me to get one. I hope so.
Right? Because then all you've got to do is actually, I'm not 100%. Yeah. So you could download and play all of your Steam games through that, huh?
Yep.
Right on.
Play Steam on the go.
Sweet. Or just play like all kinds of PC games that we don't get to play together now.
Exactly. Now we will be able to going forward, whatever the hell you want. Because like, there's two problems with me playing computer games with you. Is one, will it run? And two, will I have access to my computer? Because Ange works here on the weekdays. But now that solves two problems in one. So yeah, I think that's a good time to do it. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. I'm in awe of the price for the OLED model.
I do wish I could grab one, that's for sure.
I know, and just for the record, there's probably people listening right now screaming, OLED, OLED! And like, I don't give a shit. I work at a hardware store. I sell light bulbs, and we call it LED. It's hardwired into my brain to call it LED.
Right, exactly.
I'm not going to call it OLED. It's OLED.
Like, I'm only calling it OLED if I can start calling the other ones LED.
And that's just unsafe. It's not healthy. You should not be holding a chunk of lead for 8 hours a day.
Especially not using it as a light bulb. That doesn't even make sense.
No.
OLED.
That's how you burn your house down, potentially. Certainly don't paint your house with it either. That's right? A really bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're going for snacks later. Oh, don't, man! That just bummed me out. This whole fucking LA Knight thing.
Oh God, that's what I was gonna bring up. Shit. Yeah,
LA Knight lost the championship, the title match.
I mean, that was expected.
we okay, so we all knew it was gonna fucking happen, but I mean, at the same time, it's like,
it sucks. It sucks.
It's like this shit. It's time for it to be over with. I mean, we're all sick of Roman fucking Reigns. That doesn't mean you got to put away the bloodline shit. Doesn't mean you got to put away the bloodline shit.
He's gonna be away from WWE for the rest of the year.
That doesn't make anything good. That means that he holds on to that fucking title even longer.
Yeah,
it's just stupid. What a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah. Honestly, though, when it comes to Crown Jewel, I'll give it to 3 matches that were, in my opinion, really fucking good and maybe stole the show. Like the Roman Knight match, I'll admit, was a good match. Like
I thought it was really good.
Very good job.
Hell yeah,
not making LA Knight look weak, and him actually putting in some effort. But at the end, I think was still fucking bullshit. But beyond that, like Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre.
That was a damn good show.
Maybe the best match of the night, and it was the opening match. Like
right. And man, you want to talk about a title? Shit. I wish Drew would have won the belt just so that he had that as the clip to show when he says he won the Universal title or when he says he won the WWE title. Yeah. Because look, man, I mean, did you watch the Brock Lesnar fight when he won the Universal?
No, I still have to go back and watch that.
Well, it is 100% one of the worst wrestling matches I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it goes like this. Okay, don't quote me, but it's not. I'm paraphrasing here. Okay, but it's basically like this: F5, Claymore,
right?
F5, F5, Claymore,
right?
F5, 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 Claymore. Drew wins.
No Suplex City?
No Suplex City.
Wow.
It was so fucking boring. And, I mean, you could tell that they were hurting. Either that or Drew McIntyre is, like, a really good actor. Because I believe every single one of his ouches.
He's a really good seller. Well, that's a shame. I might still check it out just to see, but That is a shame.
It was a little difficult for me to track down and get the whole match, but it's really not long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I actually just rewatched for like the 20th time the 2020 Royal Rumble, which is still to this day my favorite Royal Rumble match.
The 2020 Royal Rumble?
Fantastic. It is the year that Edge came back at the Royal Rumble, and it was
Who?
right before Edge.
Who's Edge?
I'm not talking Adam Copeland. This is WWE.
Adam Copeland. Oh. Right.
He's Adam Copeland in AEW. I'm talking about WWE. He's Edge. Yeah, when he came back at the Royal Rumble just before the pandemic hit, so it was like the last pay-per-view with a full crowd, like a full stadium, and then the next one I think was WrestleMania. I think I could be. There might have been one in between, but
might have been. Who knows?
Point is, like that is still my favorite WrestleMania because not favorite Royal Rumble, not Mania, Royal Rumble, because you get, and even Michael Cole says it in the second half of the match. It's an hour-long match, as most Royal Rumbles are, but you're getting 2 Royal Rumbles in one match, basically. Because the first, Brock Lesnar comes out. At the time, he's still the WWE champion, and he inserts himself as number 1. He announced as the champion he wanted to be the first entry. And he just mops the floor with everybody that comes out. he kills like half the freaking roster till Drew McIntyre comes out and eliminates him with some help from Ricochet. But Brock eliminated, I think, 13 people that night.
Jesus.
By himself in a row. Even one time, 2 in the same elimination. And then after that, the ring started to pile up and you got a lot more superstars, and then Edge came back, and it was just a fantastic match. And that is, to this day, my favorite Royal Rumble. So it's a damn shame to see that Drew winning that led to such a disappointing match.
Yeah.
As for Crown Jewel, though, there's that match. There was Rhea Ripley's title match, title defense. That Fatal 5-Way was fantastic.
It definitely was.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And you know what else? Her makeup was bitching.
Oh, God, yeah. It was
she had some kind of like punchline kind of thing going on there. I thought it looked wicked as hell.
Yeah. But I think my favorite part was Shayna Baszler. Like, just after Michael Cole mentioned that she's a submission specialist, she gets 3 people in different
right?
Same
fucking time. And it's like, and they're all
Raquel in one leg. She's got like Nia Jax in the other leg. She's got Rhea Ripley in her arms.
And they're all, I mean, they're all applied correctly.
Yeah.
Not none of the half-ass shit, you see wrestlers sometimes try to slide with.
Yeah.
The good ones don't. But it's
she really is the submission specialist.
Shit, yeah,
it was
dude.
So cool to watch. It was fantastic.
Yep.
And then Zoe Stark comes out and kicks her in the head and releases everyone.
Let's say I wish they would have done more with the whole Baszler versus. Don't get me wrong, Baszler fucking gets on my nerves.
Oh yeah.
Like bad. But she is by far the better fighter up against Rousey.
Yeah.
And it would have been really cool to see had seen them fight a few times. But, make a little bit more out of that whole fuck you Ronda storyline.
Yeah.
Because would have given her a chance to shine instead of that fucked up half-ass MMA style whatever it was that we got.
It was a really weird match, but I don't remember hating it.
It was like kind of MMA, but also kind of wrestling, and
It was really weird.
yeah, it was like the oatmeal of the night.
Yeah. But the oatmeal was like still maple cinnamon flavor, so so it was like
Strawberry cream.
It was a little tasty. But
It's
it's not what
fucking
she
right.
wants.
It's oatmeal, but you'll still eat it.
Yeah. Right. All I can say that is, mommy is always on top. Hell yeah. And
I thought for sure
tabbed out,
that.
so I can't see your face, but I can feel your face just scrunching when I say
Yeah.
that.
I thought for sure that they were gonna use this time to give it to Rodriguez. I
Well,
really
now
thought so.
They're pushing it towards Zoe Stark as the next competitor, the next contender, because she won the Battle Royale on Monday.
Yeah, I saw that. Which was a hell of a match, too.
Yeah, which I need to go back and finish it because that's when I was falling asleep, so I didn't get to see the whole match. But I woke up in time to see Zoe Stark eliminate the last person. So yeah, it was an interesting looking match. And finally from Crown Jewel, Rey Mysterio versus Logan Paul. I'll give it up to the two of them. They put on a damn near a clinic of a match. I know, like, I'm not happy that Logan won the title either, but I keep saying every time he's in the ring, like, damn if he isn't entertaining, damn if he isn't actually good at this. and people, like, he actually got praised when he went backstage because there was a spot Ray had jumped off the rope and was going to botch it. He was going to miss and nearly landed on his head, and Logan caught him and saved his ass. So kudos to Logan Paul. At the end of the day, he won the US title. I ain't happy about it, but I'm not going to say he doesn't deserve it.
He doesn't deserve it. Being athletic, it takes more than being an in-ring athlete to be a wrestler.
See, that makes no sense to me.
Absolutely not.
Please explain that.
if the only thing that matters is in-ring wrestling ability, then go get in the fucking Olympics.
That's a different type of wrestling. That's Greco-Roman they use.
And
it's not the same. It's not the wrestling he's doing.
No, the wrestling that he's doing involves more than being able to pull off incredible moves.
But what? No, this is not real wrestling.
This is not real wrestling. What do you mean?
Like, Josh, it's not real. Am I breaking the news to buddy? It's not real.
Logan Paul. Okay,
it's still real to me. Damn it!
It's real to me. Damn it!
I mean, like it's not this because it's choreographed, studied, and protected moves, and they're done in a way to make it look like they're in combat, but they're not really.
Well, I mean,
but the wrestling in the
they're
Olympics
still hurt.
is Greco-Roman. It's not the same wrestling.
It's not the same style of wrestling. No shit. Nobody's doing pile drivers in the Olympics. But the point I'm trying to make is, it's more than just being an athlete. You have to have charisma and a personality. You have to have some kind of a fucking presence. You can't just be, I'm a douchebag and I know everybody hates me, but I'm rich, so.
But
I mean, that's what?
It works for him.
It doesn't work though.
It doesn't work for you, but it works for him.
It's
gotten him.
Don't even get me. It's gotten him millions and millions of dollars being a douchebag.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what we want. Never mind.
Like,
I don't want to support that in any way, shape, or form. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't deserve to have that kind of a platform.
he's a douchebag through and through, yes, but it's all like it's a mutually beneficial relationship what they're doing here, because
There's
Logan Paul
don't give a fuck.
still has
Million other directions it could have gone in.
millions of fans, I'm trying to say, on social media. Some fucking how he has millions of fans on social media. I don't understand why or how. I don't like it. I don't care for it, but he does. And it's
Those
a
millions of fans
draw.
are not coming to the WWE. They're
No,
watching
but
the clips of him in WWE on his fucking TikTok and YouTube. They're not watching Raw. They're not watching
some of
SmackDown to
them
see that.
might, when it could, I'm not going to say all of them are, but some of them will.
Very,
And
very
they
few.
will
Not enough.
come for Logan Paul, and then they'll get
Not
entertained
enough.
by other stuff if it's good enough.
Not enough to give. Not enough to give him a belt. Not enough to justify $3 million.
Like end of the day, I think the belt's not going to be on him very long. It's going to be a short stint regardless. At least I hope so, because as much as I think he can have the title, I don't want him to have it very long. He wrestles like 4 or 5 times a year, and only at pay-per-views, and he occasionally makes appearances on shows to hype up an upcoming pay-per-view. And if that's what he that and at that point, realistically, he might be doing more than Roman in a year. So, but I don't want him to have the title very long. I could see like, uh, what the hell's it called? Uh, fucking War Games. What the hell is it called? Survivor Series.
Survivor Series.
Title's going to be on the line of Survivor Series.
What title?
U.S. title.
Okay.
And he's going to lose it at Survivor Series. And I hope it's to
Do you know how far away Survivor Series is?
like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Do you know how long that is?
14 days.
It's too long.
Yeah, but they're not gonna, they're gonna leave it for a major event. They're gonna hype it up. They can't just like this Friday have someone just come out, I want a title match. Like, no. And who the hell, what the hell's his name? Oh my god, in the LWO.
Santos?
Santos Escobar. He's got to drop it to Santos.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Ray had his time to shine one more time. Santos came out to help Ray, and then foolishly left the brass knuckles on the fucking ring apron as he chased the guy out of the ring, out of the arena, and then it's up to him to get the title back.
Fair enough.
I hope. Yeah. But that's that.
And this is this.
This is this.
And
Miz
this
Gunther
is
Survivor
counts.
Series. I'm excited about that. Josh hates the idea. Because not only do you hate Gunther, you also hate the Miz.
Yep.
Because
Like-
you missed all of the Miz's great moments during, like, you were not watching while the Miz was coming up, and anybody that was watching WWE during that tenure, during the Miz's time as a wrestler, fell in love with the guy.
Well, I can tell
He
you.
paid so many fucking dues.
Okay. I just missed it, and he's annoying as shit now.
He's always been annoying as shit, and there was a time where like people fucking hated his guts because he was that good of a heel. But then he won titles, and then he won more titles. He was a Grand Slam champion, and he became more entertaining, and he faced so many fucking concussions. Like, I'm sure if you've seen some of the videos, I don't know how deep you go into like the backstage stuff of WWE, but there was, I don't remember what show it was, but there was a match he had with John Cena, and there was at one point John Cena called an audible, kind of fucked up, and tackled Miz over a barricade onto concrete floor, and then Miz smacked his head off the floor really hard. You could see his head bounce off the fucking concrete, and after that he was just out of it for the whole match, and Cena had to carry him through the fucking match because he had no clue where he was, and I think he ended up winning because he was supposed to go over that night. And then there's video of him backstage with the Dodgers looking at him. He's gone. And fucking kudos to him for going through that. Like, there's only a handful of people I know of, and there's probably a lot more that have done it, gone through a match with a concussion where you don't even know who you are at the time, let alone what you're supposed to be doing, and you fucking go through it. And he did it, and he's happy about it. Like, kudos to him.
Kudos. I suppose we should talk about the heroes.
Yeah. I did talk about my hero.
The Miz is your hero.
He's my hero.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Boy, indeed.
All right.
That's a low bar there, buddy.
Hey, I'm gonna send you some choice matches from the Mrs. History, and you might enjoy them.
It's not gonna make him any less annoying.
Oh no, like I said, he's still annoying, but you have to appreciate what he's done, what he's accomplished, and his character. Like, you can hate a guy, but you can still appreciate the guy. That's where I'm at. Like, he's still annoying, but I love it every time his music plays. All right. You want to kick us off with honorable mentions?
I sure can. Not very many this week, 9 altogether. We got Icon versus Hardware number 5, Fire and Ice Welcome to Smallville number 3, and Superman 78, The Metal Curtain number 1. All of them got 8s.
Hell yeah. Even Fire and Ice, eh?
Even Fire and Ice. Did you get a chance to read it?
No, I have not had a chance to read that yet.
It was a fun one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
All right,
I recommend anybody that's I'll get into it. I'll get into it in the bonus show. So y'all gotta dip into our Discord, $2.99 a month, and get a chance to listen to that.
right on. You heard that right, folks. Hop in. All right. So our first book for the week is going to be Shazam number 5.
Brought to us by Rob.
Yes. Excuse me.
No.
It was actually brought to us by master storytellers, in my opinion, Mark Waid and Dan Mora, writing and art respectively, with Alejandro Sanchez on colors and letters from Troy Pateri, and Dan Mora providing the gorgeous cover. And actually a really cool cover this time, a very classic looking Billy Batson.
Yeah, the cover's pretty good, man.
I think so, yeah. All right, so picking up
It's
where
Dan
we left
Mora,
off
though.
in
I mean,
yeah, it's Dan Mora. You can't go wrong. So picking up where we left off in issue 4, Billy is out in space, slowly dying, freezing to death, and as he begins to just lose consciousness, he is caught by none other than Mary Marvel, who has made her way to the moon, and thinking Billy will be okay now that he is back in some kind of warm atmosphere. She begins talking to
because I mean, okay.
Also, there's like a bunch of villains right in front of her, so she kind of can't just ignore him for a second. Yeah, so she starts talking to Queen Bee and saying it's time for the Captain and Mary Marvel to step up and save the day. But then she realizes Billy is not responding to any of her quips. Looks over, he's still unconscious. And as she's still deflecting lasers and bullets, says the only thing she can do now is call upon the power of Shazam. And she asks the goddesses that give her her own power to stand down, and calls out for Zeus to send down a lightning bolt. She does. She ducks out the way. The lightning bolt hits Billy, and he becomes the captain once again. But now the gods have switched hands again. Zeus has standing down since his tenure as Billy and the captain no longer matter. Or at least it didn't work out in his favor. Too arrogant. So now it's, excuse me, Mercury's time to take control of the captain's body, and using his own speed just makes quick work of the ape mercenaries as Mary is just watching Billy go crazy. And he gets a little arrogant as well, downright childish at some point. Um, Mary's a bit confused by it all. Gargwax shows up yet again after being brought back to normal size. by Queen Bee, who was promised the excuse me. God,
No, just
freaking
stop doing it.
my throat is still not 100%.
I feel you.
It's fucking stupid. Yeah, after brings so Queen Bee brings Gargwax back to normal size with the promise of getting the warp drive, as Gargwax is the only one that knows where it is, but he betrays her and asks his robot minions to take her to the jails on the moon, because that's a fucking thing. Um, all right, so then the captain grabs Gargwax and gets a little too much in his face, and kind of bluffs, saying he's used his X-ray vision, so he knows exactly where the warp drive is. So just hand it over. So Gargwax opens his mouth really fucking wide and barfs out the warp drive. Apparently, it was within him. To which both the captain and Mary are really grossed out and surprised it was in his fucking stomach. To which Gargwax is surprised that they didn't know that, because the captain said he had X-ray vision, but then says, "Dummy, yeah, I don't have X-ray vision. Um, you fell for it." But then Queen Bee comes out yet again. She broke out of jail, and more fights ensue. And then Billy gets a little, well, not Billy. The captain gets really pissed off, controlled by Mercury. Calls himself a god. How dare you threaten a god, you arrogant sow, and backhands her. Um, and that's not okay. But again, gods, they're dicks.
Oh, Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Oh,
So then the ape
Billy.
mercenaries see the warp drive just sitting around, and they begin to take off. Mary takes care of Queen Bee. They realize the warp drive is missing. The pair head off after it, but the warp drive accidentally gets activated as one of the apes trip and sends the moon spinning at a very hyper speed. Mary, or sorry, the captain does what he can to slow it down, while Mary goes to save the apes. And then Mary is left to deal with the debris from the moon, as all the captain can do is try and push the moon to a slowing stop, um, using his own body and hands as a bit of a brake mechanism, since the warp drive got a little damaged and cannot reverse the polarity. He does stop the moon spinning, and Mary takes care of all the debris that potentially heads to Earth. Um, and then they save the day, and head back home, as Billy knows where he has to go next, as Mary kind of filled him in, said, like, you sound like a god, maybe the gods are controlling you. She kind of clues in on what's going on. You mentioned yourself a god. How is that possible, apart from like the crazy actions you've been having? Feel a lot like the six gods that give you their abilities. So he heads to the Rock of Eternity and confronts the six gods. Mercury in particular goes up against him, uh, and says, look, you're going to stay out of my mind, leave me to be the hero I need to be, or I just quit. And Mercury gets in his face and says, look, you can do that, but are you really going to do that to your family? Because you'd be depriving them of power too. He says, if Billy is reluctantly saying about that, no, they wouldn't want it that way, so no more captain then. And then Freddy shows up, comes up behind him, and somewhat betrays Billy. Says, if it shouldn't be up to him, if Billy won't take the Shazam power, I will. And that's
Dun dun
where
dun.
the issue ends. Yeah.
You gotta be shitting me.
Yeah, so
What's the deal, Freddy?
yeah, fucking Freddy.
Fucking Freddy.
That's gonna be interesting. Forgot to mention the other kids are also on the Rock of Eternity with the dinosaur lawyer.
Yeah.
Still fucking weird. They were trying to look for a way to help Billy, but Freddy was there to have for other means, I guess.
He's gonna make damn sure that they finish that paperwork.
Yep. Art fantastic, story quite interesting. There was a nod from Gargwax about the Doom Patrol. I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
That was really funny. Not much else I can really say about the issue. It's really cool, really interesting, really fun. It's got that classic zany feel to it at times, but still gets the job done and tells an interesting story. And again, as we said many times over and many times today, and probably will going forward, Dan Mora is fucking amazing. So even if you're not in love with the story, you'll definitely be enamored just looking at it because it's so good to look at. 8.75 out of 10.
All right. Well, I mean, it's pretty vanilla for me. The art's great as always, but Mary shaves Shazam. They save everything. Captain figures it all out, and Freddy really wants his powers back. I mean, it was a page turner for me in the way that I indeed did turn pages while reading. It wasn't horrifying. It wasn't exceptional. 7 out of 10.
Fair enough. At least it didn't leave a bad taste in your mouth.
No, it started. I mean, it took us toward an end of this crap. At least of the gods taking turns playing with him.
Yeah.
So hopefully we are getting that resolved and moving on, and all is well. This issue says that anyway. We'll see what happens next one.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be some interesting stuff for the family, I think, next issue.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see where that goes. Excuse me. All right, next up, we have the Birds
Caw
of Prey. Caw-caw! Brought to us by Josh.
Written by Kelly Thompson, art inside and out by Leonardo Romero, with colors from Jordi Belair and lettering from Clayton Cowles. Harley's crazy idea of calling in King Shark and having everybody hide in the bellies of megalodons to sneak into Themyscira actually works. On the beach, they go over the plan, and Xana makes a deal with the island. She can't kill or be killed while she is here. She can run someone through with a sword, but they won't die. She did that by rubbing sand on her forearm and allowing a worm to crawl inside where she rubbed it. Gross. The team split up searching for Sin.
Hell of a thing.
Right? Black Canary and Harley are the ones that find her, just as an alarm goes off of course. When that happens, Dinah immediately calls Oliver so that he can create a distraction for Diana. He tries, but he doesn't do much. Well, I mean, he actually turns her into a whole swarm of pink butterflies just as she realizes it's to slow her response to Themyscira's alert. And like I said, it pretty much doesn't do anything because she's pretty much instantly there. Sees the birds. Side note, she also calls them that, which I thought was a little weird. But whatever. Anyway, she looks really pissed, and that's that. That's the book. The art is, I believe I previously described it as like a modern classic. It's definitely very reminiscent of classic comics. The colors match it really well using this limited color palette too. While this isn't my favorite art style, it's done really well for what it is. There's some faces I can't get behind, mostly a few of Harley's, but I'm not that mad about it. The story so far, it's, I don't know, definitely action packed. It's got hard beats in every issue. So that has me worrying that if the ending, even if that is also a hard beat, is going to feel mediocre. This issue, though, I did enjoy, even though I did find some flaws in here. So 7 out of 10 for Birds of Prey number 3.
Weird to me that between your review of Birds of Prey and your review of Shazam, it's almost polar opposites, and yet you gave it the same score.
Dan Mora's art is spectacular.
Okay.
And that helps out a whole lot.
Fair.
Plus, Wade did not overweight it, so that helped.
Fair enough. As for Birds of Prey, definitely agree with the art. It is almost a very interesting stylistic choice, but as it's very good. I like it, but as much as I like it, I also don't like it. Like it's kind of hand in hand. It's very balanced in a way. It's weird. I'm not in love with it, but I can definitely enjoy it.
It
Um,
feels very much
like how you described it as classic comics. I
yeah,
definitely
like
see that.
yeah, like I don't know, like late
Yeah,
'80s comics,
with a
or
lot of
early
muted tones.
yeah
Yeah,
early '90s newspaper strips.
yeah. It definitely has that artistic feel to it,
Yeah,
which is nice. I don't know how well it works for this kind of book, but it
uh,
works for now. Like it's still good art. It's still good art. It's just weird. It's weird.
it's just not for
Um,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Uh,
bad. It's just it's a style that I'm not that fond of.
yeah. Story. I find it very very interesting. I'm curious to see where it's going to go. I think if I remember right, the opening arc is a 5 issue story. Um, if not 6, but I'm pretty sure it's 5 issues. So we're about halfway there.
Yeah.
They found Sin and mission accomplished. Now they have to get off the island, but that is inconsequential to the mission. Um, the only problem is the what is Barta's weapon called again? Or
Oh,
boomstick.
yeah the the boom tube, but there's this other thing. What the hell is it called?
Cosmic rod.
No, that's Stargirl.
I know. uh,
Oh man,
shit.
that's gonna
Yeah, but
bug the shit
that
out
thing,
of me
like
now.
that's now missing, which is the only way they can get Sin off the island. We can only hope that Diana maybe listens to reason, but that's probably not going to happen. We'll see what happens though. What I'm finding interesting right now is, um, shit. Who's the writer again? Stephanie
Uh,
Phillips.
no, it's Kelly Thompson.
Kelly Thompson. When she announced the book, she did when she announced the roster anyway, she did say like as the story arcs progress, the roster may or may not change, and there will be some members leaving and other members joining. So I think, and this is just me spitballing here, um, Diana could be joining the team for a story arc in the next arc, which would
Oh,
be
now
very
wouldn't that be
interesting.
something?
Yeah. Uh, It'd be very fucking cool. I also like the deep dive on Harley Quinn from Dinah's perspective.
Yes.
Just really well done and really well portrayed. And maybe it's just the inner Injustice fan in me, but I want to see more interactions between Oliver, Harley, and Dinah. I think that'd be a really cool setup. I don't know how well that would work, but it works for Injustice, so why not? Uh, apart from that, I can't think there's anything else to say about the issue. It was really well done. I'm enjoying it. 8.5 out of 10. And with
Holy
that,
cow.
yeah, you all right?
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah, it's looking fierce over there, bud. I
No,
guess
man, it's
that's what happens when you're sick.
yeah. You know the other thing that I like. Actually, never mind. I'm going to change that. I'm going to keep that for my favorite moment.
Okay. Well, now I'm very curious. All right, so that'll bring us to our last book for the week, and that is Blue Beetle #3. And this is brought to us from Josh Trujillo, writing with art from Adrian Gutierrez, colors from Will Quintana, and letters from Lucas Catone, Catone, um, and a beautiful cover from Gutierrez and Luis Guerrero. Really, really nice cover, I thought, with the fighting game style. It was really cool. I
God,
could I could look at it over and over again. All right, so after the events of last issue, where the Blood Scarab attacked the I don't remember the name of the aliens tribe that the little base there, and injured Ted. Um, Finding out that Kajida interacts with the symbol left behind by Blood Scarab and realizes it's magic, so Jaime calls on his ex-girlfriend, Tracy 13. She hangs up on him and then teleports to him directly, saying, "We got to make this quick. I'm in the middle of a shift." Where she's working at the Oblivion Bar, she takes him straight there because he's looking for information on the symbol. And she takes him to Madame Xanadu because if anybody can help him, it's her. Meanwhile, back at the alien compound, Starfire has arrived a little bit too late after all the destruction that has been wrought. Talks with Roma, who I forget her here. Is that Natita? I forget which one's which now, but one of the Beatles.
I think that's Natita. Yeah, well, yeah. I can't remember right now, man.
Can't remember which one's which right now. Yeah, so talks with Roma, trying to buck her up a bit because she's feeling down after letting everyone down and not being able to protect. But that is when Victoria Court arrives, complete with Brenda by her side, being her new assistant. And promises more protection and more security and surveillance for the aliens, but the alien leader denies it. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Rejects it. I was going to say regrets it. No, they reject it. As Victoria says, "Well, how's that going for you if you don't want it and you have your own champions?" Right, then Giamara goes up to Brenda to ask what the hell's going on, and Brenda reveals like she's just doing this to kind of figure out what's going on and try and help Jaime, but don't tell him yet because I haven't had the chance to. Whole big question of trust over there. That's going to be a factor going forward, I imagine. So back at the Bolivian bar, Jaime is having his fortune told by Madame Xanadu. And Xanadu reveals that Jaime is going to be in a great conflict with the Blood Scarab, and the Blood Scarab is almost a duplicate version of him, almost a mirror, but darker and more deadly. Also, someone from Kajida's past, so there is some connection there. And if he's going to win the day, he will need to suffer great loss. So that is when Jaime begins to remember stuff from his own past with Dan Garrett's. Dan had found Kajida in a pharaoh's tomb, but couldn't remember the name. As Kajida remembers the name, Ka-F Ray. It's really hard to read some of the font on Kajida sometimes.
It is.
Ka-F Ray is the pharaoh that once held Kajida for a while, and was also a powerful blood sorcerer who reigned over his kingdom millennia ago, according to Kajida. Madame Xanadu knows Ka-Afre very well and describes him as a tyrant. But Tracy, 13, and Jaime head out to Egypt to uncover the tomb, and Tracy does just that using her abilities. She moves some sand away and uncovers the tomb of Ka-Afre. They head inside, trying to figure out some stuff going on. The tomb seals up, and inside is actually the Blood Scarab. So Jaime gets ready to fight with his legato form, which very fucking cool still. And they duke it
always.
Out. Yeah. Tracy 13 tries to get involved, but she's no match for the Blood Scarab. And that is when Jaime gets him almost dead to rights with a laser pointed right at the dude's face. Tracy is begging Jaime to do it, but he pauses because he's not a murderer. It's just not who he is. The tomb begins to fall apart, and that's when Tracy screams out, "This isn't worth dying for," and teleports the two of them away, far, far away to a city somewhere. And that is when Tracy confronts him. It's like, why didn't you take the shots? Look, like you could have ended it there, but you weren't thinking, or what were you thinking? And Jaime says he wasn't. And that's when Tracy says, look, if you're going to do this, you have to be willing to make the hard shots. How far are you willing to go to protect the people you care about? And oddly enough, next issue, date night. So I don't know what the hell's going on there.
Don't even get me started.
Loving the art, loving the story. I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is as close as DC will ever get to a Sentai book. And I'm so for it. I'm so about it. I love it. Especially with, and I was talking to my buddy about this last week. Power Rangers had a big resurgence in popularity recently, not only from the comics from Boom Studios, but also Netflix running Power Rangers Cosmic Fury for 10 episodes, pretty much ending the entire run that has happened for Power Rangers since 1993. And now they're rebooting the series. So it's a huge time for Power Rangers popularity.
Wow.
If there's ever a time for DC to get in the game, it's now, and they're doing it really well. Between this, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics, and Radiant Black, there's no shortage of Sentai series in comics.
I hear that there's Radiant Black, Radiant Red, and Radiant Pink, right?
Yes.
And I hear that those are all pretty good.
Yeah. I still have to go deep into all of them. I'm also hearing that they're pretty good, but it is also like a Sentai series.
Sweet.
So it's definitely
do they all interweave with one another?
I believe so.
Sweet.
Yeah. And the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic right now, I will say, like, it is fan-fucking-tastic. Even if you're not a Power Rangers fan, like a longtime Power Rangers fan, it's a great book to pick up and just get the lore, because they go deep in the lore on this book. And if you are a fan, you're going to enjoy it even more with all the stuff that's going on. It is so different from the show now, but also picks up many cues from the show and the original story that you'll know that you're just going to enjoy it. And this is no different. Like, it's fantastic, it's interesting, and I can almost guarantee you by the end of the story, Blood Scarab is going to be on the team, because that's how this goes in Sentai stories. You have the evil extra ranger, and then they turn him around at the end, and then he joins the team against the grander villain. This is how it always goes. And Blood Scarab will be no different, I imagine. At least I hope, because it'd be really fucking cool to see.
Right.
Not enough praise for the art. Realistically, it's fantastic. The story's interesting. Honestly, I'm loving this book so much. 9 out of 10. I can't deny it. Like, it's so fucking good.
First off, Jaime's running with the Scarab. The Blood Scarab went better than I thought it would. Yeah. A little faster than I thought it would too. Although it seems like this is going to push Jaime to re-examine his moral code and maybe break it. I feel like it's an interesting story that gets to be interrupted by yet another date night issue. This is like the 3rd series in the past year that's done this. 4 maybe, if we're counting Robin. But okay, bringing magic into this, that is cool as shit.
Yeah.
Bringing magic into Blue Beetle. Having Tracy 13, cool as shit. The obvious intentional mentioning about how they've both moved on, grown up, and matured, that's cool as shit. Yeah. All of this, it brings in a bunch of interesting little pieces of story that hopefully will work out wonderfully. They are setting Blue Beetle up to be awesome. As long as they don't fuck this up, Blue Beetle could have an ongoing for a while. And maybe even get another movie. That would be sweet. This is a seriously solid effort in this book. I'm super happy with it. I gave it an 8.75 out of 10.
Right on. I'm happy you like it because I know how much you like Jaime Reyes as Blue Beetle.
God, yes, I would have been.
It's a solid win for Blue Beetle fans.
And
Sentai fans.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, it's really well done. All right, so that is our books for the week. That's the wrong tab I wanted to open. And now we're going to get into our top 3, basically the 3 books we just said.
In order.
Moments. Yeah, what do you got, Josh?
For third place, Poison Ivy. Probably the lesser of the efforts on all fronts. In this entire Poison Ivy series, but it's still pretty damn good. Second place goes to Batman, and first place by far goes to Blue Beetle. My favorite moment is I was gonna say at the last page of Blue Beetle, that big ass picture of Jaime, but instead I'm choosing when Harley is about to call Wonder Woman a giant bitch, gets corrected by Barda, and then changes it to bisexual icon.
Now, I wanna just bring that up for a second because I read it the exact same way you did. I thought she was calling Wonder Woman that, and then I got talked to by somebody, so I had to like go back and like read that page again, and then I realized she was calling Barda that. I didn't catch it the first time. It wasn't until I went through it the second time. She was pointing to Barda when she said this big bit. Yeah. And then like I thought for sure she was talking about Wonder Woman, but she's apparently talking about Barda. Which I didn't know Barda was bisexual, but that's fucking cool.
Oh yeah, I guess grammatically you're right. I just said, yep, I went back and reread it too. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. I had the exact.
I mean, they're both bisexual icons. So
they are. Well, I mean, Wonder Woman definitely is. I just didn't know Barda was, which I'm all for. That's we need more like muscly
Barda's
in bisexuality.
Barda's been that way for a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Fair enough. If there's 2 things that bisexuals love when it comes to body types, it's muscly women and femboys. Yeah, we like it opposite. Right, so my top 3 very similar. I think I'm having trouble pointing to the third, like actually picking a third, but I think I'm gonna say Shazam number 5. Just narrowly beating out Batman 139, with Poison Ivy number 16 at number 2, and Blue Beetle number 3 also at number 1. My favorite moment out of that issue is when Jaime shouts out "Legato form activate." I'm thinking, yes, Battleizer mode. Billy.
Oh, Billy.
Billy Cranston. Yeah, so I was like, I had a big smile on my face when I read that. Like, Legato form activated. Yes. It was freaking awesome. Yeah, so that was that. And yeah, so that's also a hint for what you're gonna get on the bonus show. We're gonna be talking about Poison Ivy, Batman, and one other book. And if you're paying attention to the week's releases, you know what that is.
Indeed, you should.
It is not a book we've talked about for every other issue, but it's the final issue, and it's very interesting and has to do with other stories we've talked about recently. So we're adding it in for the bonus show. Be sure to check it out. I'm sure we will have a lot to talk about it.
Indeed.
Yeah, so be sure to get in our Discord to get a look-see at that bonus episode. Yeah, it's $2.99 a month, and I'm vamping now. I don't got anything else to say.
No, that's it, man.
Josh? Yeah,
that's it. Thanks, everyone. We will be back next week covering all of DC's weekly releases. Same bat time, same bat channel. So I guess that's the show. We're getting out of here, so you'll have to as well. Be careful out there, and remember, in the Geek Matrix, everyone has a home. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.